Greetings! Stay a while and listen to me, MarauderEX, as I ramble about Shining Force. Something that never happens on this channel, am I right? Ooh, okay. So, I woke up this morning to so many messages asking if I had seen the trailer that dropped for the new Shining Force mobile game, what my thoughts on it, what my opinions are, or was I going to do a video on it? And the answer is an emphatic yes. I saw the video. I'm obviously doing a video about it. I want to talk about it. So let's just get some things out, right out of the way. Yes, we already know it's a mobile game. So like the second that I was announced, I'm like, okay, not super interested in it. Like, I don't play a lot of mobile games. I've said it before a lot of times on my channel. I mostly use my phone as a telecommunications device. I use it to call, to text, to video chat. Rarely do I play games on it because it just eats the battery so much faster, and I use it for those purposes. Occasionally I will download a game and stick with it for a month or two for the odd times that I have a little bit of downtime when I don't have a console or something else around me that I can play games on. That being said, I thought to myself when this title was announced, the best thing they could do, the one thing that I would be super ecstatic for, is if it was like a compilation of all of the Shining Force games, and you could get all the characters that you want, kind of like a premium disc, but covering the entire series. And you know what? This is pretty damn close to that, honestly. So this game is a tactical RPG. It is a mobile game, which means it is most likely gacha, but it is covering 3 entire games worth of characters. I haven't done the math on that. I probably should have. I'll probably post a number somewhere around here to say how many characters are total within all of these games. So like the gacha mechanics on that make a little bit more sense. And I understand mobile games and gacha, they go together like peanut butter and chocolate. It's a good way for a game to continue to make money after its launch. A lot of people don't spend money on mobile apps. I get it. Understand it. It's a good way to, people can play the game, and if you want to throw money into it, you can. This looks really good. Surprisingly good. I'm actually a little confused and scared at how good this looks. And part of me realizes it's because it's not Sega doing it. That sounds awful, but it's kind of true. This is being developed by Hive, which I cannot find any other information on games that they've made, but they licensed the IP to Hive so that they could do this. And so this game covers Shining Force 1, Shining Force 2, and the Shining Force Gaiden titles, which, granted, I said 3 titles, but like the Gaiden titles kind of meshed together because 2 of them were Shining Force CD here in the US. We only got 1 of the Game Gear titles. There's 3 Game Gear titles. So like it's a bit wider of complex, but in the trailer we see what looks like a retelling or a reimagining of the Jewels of Light and Darkness as twins. If you didn't get the color combination on that, replay Shining Force 2. It's the same colors. You had the young girl reading the story from Shining Force 1, talking about Max. Like, all of the things in this game are just like, hey, guess what? Whoever this developer is, they're actually like, we actually kind of love these games. We're gonna pull as much from this as we can. The opening shows 3 of the series' major villains. It looks like you've got Dark Soul, Xeon, Dark Dragon, just hanging out, being dicks, trying to kill people. You got Max and Bowie like, hey, guess what? We're gonna partner up, and it looks like the premium disc battles of Shining Force 3 in a mobile game. And this one actually has a story. It's not just inconsistent battles for, for fun. There's a story to it. And we've seen characters. We've seen a lot of characters that are available. In just the still image, you've got Guyan, you've got Claude, you've got Peter, you got Kiwi, you got Adam, you got Max, you got Bowie, you got Sarah. I saw Kazan in the game. You got May. Looks like several Mays, because I saw one that was the Centaur Archer, and then there's the one with the land. There's a lot of different. That's going to be another problem. A lot of these characters share the same name, so that's because that was kind of the thing. Like we have May, the Centaur. Oh well, in this game she's an archer. In this game she's a lancer. So, oh right, yeah, we're gonna. It looks like they're gonna slightly change up the spelling a little bit of a couple of them, maybe. I don't know. If not, you got a couple of people who have the same name. But the art style looks incredible. It really does. You've got the classic, you know, grid-based combat. You go up to someone, you attack, and then like they jump into the frame, and then they attack. Seeing these characters attack in what looks like amazing modern visuals was just like, oh, I had no idea how badly I wanted this. Like I have been championing that is a word that's really difficult to say. A remake or just a sequel. I would love Shining Force 4. And I've gotten into a lot of arguments about the Shining series in general. And like, I've not really been a fan of any of the modern Shining releases. And again, I'm not a huge mobile fan. This I'm going to support. This I'm going to help. Because let's face it, Sega, I don't know if Sega knows what they're doing with their properties anymore. I don't know if they know what they're doing. But at least what they are doing is somewhat intelligent. They are giving the IPs to companies that want to use them. We've had some really good re-releases of games. We had Christian Whitehead with Sonic Mania. That was probably the best-selling Sonic game in ever? Honestly? That was a fantastic game. You have .emu, I never know how to pronounce the name, with Shining Force 4, which I did several live streams of, playing the base game and the DLC, which is just highly addictive. And now you've got another developer bringing in Shining Force. And what gets me is there have already been statements on record that Camelot, the company that did the Shining games and the Golden Sun games, they are still in existence. They just did a Mario Golf game on the Switch. It's a good game in its own as well. And they have said if they had the chance to do another Shining game, they would love to. So, my earnest hope would be that this reimagining of the classic Genesis, Mega Drive, Game Gear era titles drums up enough sales to justify another, maybe Camelot stepping in and saying, hey, Sega, you know, we kind of want to do another game. Can we use the IP? That is my honest, earnest hope of what I would love to see happen. So I know it's really difficult to say, you know, you should support the game in hopes of getting more. And I've had that problem. I've said I don't like that. I did not like that with Shining Resonance Refrain. I did not go that route. I'm like, I played the game, I couldn't justify spending money on it. But the thing is with this, you don't technically have to spend money on it. You can play it without spending money on it, and it's not piracy, because it's the nature of the mobile game. But still, playing it generates interest. It doesn't generate revenue, but maybe if there's enough interest and enough revenue generated by the people who are willing to put money into it, and who knows, it might be good enough to where I might want to put money into it. It'd be the, I think, second mobile game I ever put money into, and right now I honestly couldn't tell you the first game I put money into, I think it may have just been Pokemon Go. I think that may have been the first and only game I spent money on a mobile title. So if this is the second game to do that, I'm all for that. So we'll see how it goes. But I am actually very optimistic at the success potential of this game, because it's got a lot behind it. It's pulling, what people have learned from mobile games and strategy RPGs. Because we've had there's the Fire Emblem mobile game that came out. There's the Final Fantasy. There's several Final Fantasy mobile games, but there's one that's basically Final Fantasy Tactics as a mobile game. So we've seen how this genre can play out, and they're taking what looks like the best aspects of each one, just in the art style and the design style. Not even like I have no idea the gameplay yet. It could be that the gameplay is just complete and terrible crap, and I'm really hoping that's not the case. But just they're taking the art style, the and even the music, just the best things that they could from the other games, and see how they play, and they've taken the Shining Force versions of those and put them in. Hearing the Shining Force 2 town theme was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm probably gonna be playing this. Yeah, definitely play it. So, but I'm excited. I know a lot of people aren't excited. I know so many people, the second they see mobile game, their hopes got completely trashed. Mine too, honestly. I would love a console Shining Force title. I would love to see, Shining Force 1 and 2 HD remaster with, graphics like these, some quality of life improvements. I would love to see some stuff like that. I would love to see Shining Force 4. I'd love to see where the series could go and continue on, and actually have it be, a love letter to the original games. We've seen so many of these games. Like I said, Sonic Mania, Streets of Rage 4. We've seen a lot of these games just be given to the hands of fans that truly love them, and we've seen what they can do with them. And they've made some amazing things, and that's the best idea Sega's had in a long time, is to be a little more hands-off with their stuff and let other people kind of develop for them. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, a lot of people, their hopes and dreams were very quickly dashed when it said mobile. I did not have high hopes for it. And in fact, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I said, the second it was announced, if the only way I'd play it, because if it's a mobile game, I know it's going to be a gacha game, so I know they take all of the characters from all of the available games, throw them in, because I'd love to have a party of Max and Mars and Bowie and Arthur from Shining the Holy Ark, and all of these different characters. I love to make my own dream team of characters. And it looks like they're not pulling from all of the games, but they're pulling from they're pulling from the 16-bit era completely. And I'm like, that's still not a small cast. So, hey, they actually, yeah. I will give it a shot. I thought in my mind, let me think of the most outlandish thing that they could do that I know they would never do. And they came kind of close, which is frightening. Yeah, there's still a couple of games that they didn't bring in, but, who knows? Those could be added later on. There could be events. They could have a Shining Force 3 event and bring in characters from Shining Force 3. Who knows? And this could potentially drum up more interest in the classic titles, because a lot of people were critical of Shining Force, or Shining Resonance Refrain, and the games that come out. There hasn't been a Shining Force game since Shining Force Feather on the DS, I believe. Everything else has been part of the Shining series, but not a Force game, so not a tactical RPG. It's either been like an action RPG or, you know, a fighting game at this point. So to get an actual Shining Force game, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with it. And if this drums up enough support, that's just more recognition. Be like, hey, can we get Camelot on Shining Force 4 or Shining Force HD remake or something? I would love to see what, you know, what they could do. Or maybe there's another developer. Maybe we could find the Christian Whitehead of the Shining Force community, someone who's been dealing with ROM hacks. I've played several fantastic ROM hacks of Shining Force 2. Maybe we could get those people involved and make a fantastic new game. Don't know, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm actually excited, which is weird. So we'll see how it goes. See what, you know. It looks like it's likely to release sometime early next year. There's probably going to be either an open or closed or both beta. So it's entirely possible that you can get in on it. I'm going to keep following it and see what information I can find. If I can play it early, I'd love to try. I'd love to give everyone my thoughts on it. And then once it comes out, I might do the same. Like, I can't guarantee I'm going to like it, but I'm at least going to give it a fair shot. So even if it is a mobile gacha game that a lot of people just despise, I'm going to give it a fair shot. If it seems worth spending money on, mobile games are still games. People took the time to develop them. If it's still a good game, I have no problem spending money with it. So, see how it goes. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on it. I know a lot of people really just dislike gacha games. I know people dislike mobile games in general, and especially the Shining Force franchise and the Shining fans. There's a lot of people who are very divided on it. A lot of people, like, they want a new console game. They want the classic style, they don't want the new style, or they don't care about the new style, they just want a new game. And then there's a lot of people, I can't support something that I don't enjoy. And I get all of those. I get all of those opinions. I understand them so well, I really do. But I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on it, because I'm honestly very surprised and hopeful that it's good, because it's good, and then maybe something else good will come from it. But let me know your thoughts on the matter, and I will catch you in the next rant. So till then, later everyone.